Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and welcome to my team builder in battle for the semifinals of the MPL season number 7. I'm just waking up, so I'm still trying to get my sea legs, so to speak. So bear with me as I work my way through this video. It is Sunday morning. This battle is being uploaded later this afternoon, so I wanted to try and crank this out because I am a little behind and I've got a lot of other things to do today. But enough of me whining about being sleepy. We are going to be matching versus Automatic and his Nijimegen Nuzleafs. He and I battled in week 9 of the MPL, so that was just like one battle before my previous playoff match that we had versus Root. We were able to snatch a victory from Root 2-0. It was actually really close. It was a 5-2 late in the game. Then I brought in my Halucha. I was able to set up a couple of bulk ups and was able to snatch 5 kills with Halucha. Halucha, huge threat. Definitely going to be drafting Halucha with any other Tapu that I ever draft ever again. Sceptile functions much in the same way on my team before I had Halucha. Sceptile being able to clean games with its unburdened ability in the late game, so it's really awesome, a really awesome combination. But let me read off the roster for Auto. So he has Mega Lopunny, Whimsicott, Landorus Incarnate with Sheer Force, Hydreigon, Rotom, Heat, Quillfish, Buzzwole, Florges, Seismitoad, Metagross, and Diancie. So I mentioned in the last battle with Auto that this might be the best team top to bottom that I've ever had to face in Draft League format. It just has tons of great typings, tons of top tier threats. Just like every Pokemon on the team has a way to win, like offensively. More or less, like Trick Room, Diancie, Rock Polish, Metagross, Swift Swim, Toad, Swift Swim, Quillfish, like Calm Mind, Florges. Like even his like low tier threats all have great ways to win. And then he just has tremendous wall breaking capability, like Sheer Force, Lando, Buzzwole, Hydreigon, Metagross are all really fantastic wall breakers. And then he's got the best cleaner in the game in Lopunny, so the best cleaner and revenge killer. So it's gonna be really hard to prep for. It's also really hard because we did just face off so recently. Like I said, you know, we faced off 2 weeks ago. And I did bring a team that was able to win. And I feel like because of that, you know, he sort of knows some of my tricks. Like he's going to be prepared for some of my tricks. Like, for example, the max speed Piloswine that I brought to outspeed his Rotom Heat. I'm expecting Rotom to be fast this game. Faster Rotom makes sense anyway as a way to outspeed and kill Blastoise, just because Blastoise is a big threat versus him. He has a lot of Tapu Koko answers, which is pretty annoying. Yeah, it's just an overall very tough matchup. So I had to mix up my play style a little bit this game, mix up my team. Hopefully it's as good as the last one. I feel like it's a little bit suboptimal compared to before, but we're going to do the best that we can. Like the fact that I'm leaving Piloswine on the bench when he has a Lando Eye is definitely spooky. But let's see how this goes. So first I do have a Choice Scarf Halucha with Limber. So this is probably not your standard Halucha set. Almost always you're going to be seeing the unburdened sets. But I wanted something that could reliably revenge kill Lopunny. Because I don't really have anything like that on my team. And so this thing with Adamant Nature is going to be really nice. It outspeeds a max speed timid Landorus. If that thing has a Choice Scarf, so we can outspeed it. Not that we can really do a ton of damage to it. I'm not packing HP Ice or anything like that to hit it harder. But I don't know. Maybe I just need to get some tiny bit of U-turn chip or something like that. And it's not like we need bulk on this thing for anything anyway. So it did make sense to try and outspeed Whimsicott. But just because of Whimsicott, it probably isn't going to be packing max speed. And it's going to be going for an electric move versus me anyway. Or not an electric move, a status move to outspeed me. So anyway, High Jump Kick for hitting Lopunny. Iron Head is for his fairies. He has 3 fairies on his team, which is actually pretty bonkers. Thunder Punch is there for Quillfish, which is like his best response for Halucha. And you have the U-turn for Momentum. So I can use this as a Momentum core with Tapu Koko. Like if I'm luring in Quillfish, I can U-turn that, go into Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko will like lure in one of his ground types or Rotom or whatever. And I can go to an appropriate response based off of that. So yeah, that's the Halucha set. Next we have Yachiberry Gliscor. So this set is for dealing with Lopunny mainly, because I don't have a better way of dealing with Lopunny. He's definitely going to be packing Ice Punch for this thing. He packed it the last time. I put Rocks on this thing in the last move slot. I actually almost put Agility here because he has a hard time breaking Gliscor without like Ice Punch on Lopunny or things like that. He probably has like HP Ice on Lando as well, and maybe some other Mons. But like, yeah, it seems like maybe a potential cheeky win con. But I decided I need Rocks instead because I didn't have Piloswine. This speed was gonna help me outspeed Scarf Lando if I'm at +2, but like I said, I don't have agility anymore, and I ended up not changing the speed. I just kind of forgot. I think the speed is decent enough though, because it like, I don't know, it outspeeds like Rotom Heat and stuff if it's got some speed investment. We can't really hit Rotom with this spread, but I digress. It's not really important. We don't get two-shot by Rocks plus Return plus Ice Punch with this defense investment here. The attack investment allows us to one-shot Lopunny. I think it needs to take a round of Rocks for that to happen. But anyway, that's the Gliscor spread. Next, we do have Mega Blastoise. Pretty much max HP, max special attack. I brought a relatively fast Blastoise before, but I think you'll expect that. So I just wanted to go with extra bulk, so I can take hits from things like Seismitoad really well if I need to. Yeah, I didn't really change up the moveset very much from last time. I think I had Aqua Jet or Ice Beam or something over Flash Cannon. But I went with Flash Cannon this time. It just gives me a better way of hitting his fairies a little bit harder. But yeah, he doesn't have great switch-ins to this, which is really, really nice. Next, we have a Trick Roost Latias. It's like the same EV spread as last time. It's relatively bulky, fast enough for Lando. It's definitely my best Lando switch-in. And the Ice Beam is there to hit that thing super hard. Shadow Ball is coverage for Metagross, which is kind of his only Latias response. And then Trick is nice just because if we could trick a Scarf onto like a max HP, max SpDef Metagross like he brought last time, or on Florges or Diancie or anything like that, defensive Seismitoad, it'd be nice to cripple those things. It'd be definitely very nice. It's a little unfortunate that I didn't put Psychic on this thing. Like, I wanted to, but I felt like I needed Ice Beam and Shadow Ball more. Psychic would just be nice to hit Lopunny because this thing is sort of a backup Lopunny response. But I already have like Hawlucha to Revenge Kill, and I've got Gliscor to handle it, so I'm not that worried about it. Yeah, mainly I just want to cripple this thing for different members of his team. Next we have Tapunium Z Tapu Koko. So he has so many Tapu Koko answers, and I feel like the best way to deal with him is to do 75% to them with Nature's Madness, and then kill them with Thunderbolt. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. We have Dazzling Gleam to hit Hydreigon and stuff like that. We don't have HP Ice to deal max damage to Lando, but if he does want to switch in Lando on me, yeah, I can click Nature's Madness on the switch in, hopefully. And then U-turn for momentum. You know, I really like the ability to gain momentum with Tapu Koko. I think it's really good. Again, we're outspeeding Lando with this spread, going into max special attack and the rest into HP. Nothing too special with this spread. Yeah, I don't think Tapu Koko is going to win this game, but hopefully it can set up my real late game win con, which is a Life Orb, Trick Room, Bronzong. This thing is actually really good versus his team. If we can get chip damage on things like Metagross, Lando needs a little bit of chip damage. Otherwise, yeah, like Gyro Ball does a ton of damage to everything on the team. Psychic is there to hit Quillfish. Earthquake is there to hit Metagross. This thing is actually very potent in the late game. So yeah, I just need to basically, this is kind of function like Hawlucha or Sceptile has for my team in previous weeks. If I could just get this in as last Mon, and he's got like 4 Mons left, I can set up a Trick Room, and if I can kill everything, I win. It's looking really nice. So, you know, I love offensive sets of Bronzong. It's so much fun to use. So let's hope that it does some work this game. So yeah, that was the team. I tried to plow through that as quickly as possible just because I always go very slow through the team builders. But anyway, let's now go to the battle. Otto has brought Seismitoad, Landorus, Lopunny, Florges, Rotom Heat, and Quillfish. So no major surprises aside from Metagross being on the bench. Just because Metagross was a very good stop to my Latias before. He does have Florges this time though, so Florges is going to be a pretty good response for Lati. And then like, you know, things like Toad and is going to be hard for my Lati to break through as if it has Toxic, but at least, you know, I can in theory 1v1 it with Roost and Ice Beam. Excuse me, I'm yawning a little bit. Yeah, otherwise Landorus is there, totally makes sense. Top tier threat versus me. Luckily, I have 4 ground immunities this week, so it's not as threatening as it could be. Lopunny is definitely scary. Rotom is annoying, but I do have Lottie to switch into that, resist the stabs, and I also have Gliscor to stop electric moves. So in terms of leads, I really liked Blastoise, just because like it's good versus pretty much anything except for Rotom. I can apply immediate pressure if he wants to lead, like Seismitoad, which is what he did in the last game. I can immediately just go for HP Grass versus that, and it'll be looking pretty nice. So that's what I'm going to choose to lead. I didn't really consider anything else. Like, Tapu Koko is not very good versus like a Lopunny lead. I didn't want to lead that. And I didn't want to lead Hawlucha. I didn't want to reveal the fact that I was Scarfed so early. So without further ado, let's just hit play and hop right into this battle. I'm going to play it on a slightly faster speed. 1, because the battle is a little long, and 2, the recording that I have is just lags in a couple of places, so I didn't want those parts to seem slow. I'd rather the normal speed parts seem fast than have the laggy parts seem slow. Hope that makes sense. So anyway, Blastoise does come out versus the Toad. Really nice because I get to immediately just get some offensive momentum. He's forced to switch out versus me, and I do just click the HP Grass as I get off this Mega Evolution here, as you see. He's going to go into his Florges, and it's not going to do very much damage, as you are about to see. Takes like maybe 10% or so, and he shows the leftovers. So hard to say if this thing is Spadef invested or not. Like, Florges just has so much Spadef investment to begin with, so I don't really know if it's like Fizz-Def or if it's full Spadef. But I do go for Flash Cannon. It does like 30 to 35%, so this thing is definitely going to be hard for me to break with this thing going for wishes and stuff like that. Like, I'm not even really going to be able to break it. I think I might have switched it up here and tried to go for Hydro Pump, or it might have been on the next turn. No, I do try to go for Hydro Pump. I do miss it. Because he didn't try to pass into anything else, missing it there wasn't that consequential. But you know, it's just a little bit annoying in general. I guess I'd rather miss on the turn where it doesn't really matter. Like, it didn't matter because he was obviously going to get back up to full in any case. So I do go for another Flash Cannon here, and I do think he just goes for another Wish. And so, yeah, this Blastoise is not going to be able to 1v1 this Florges whatsoever. But at least we outspeed it, which is nice. This is probably a no-speed Florges. We did put like 12 EVs just to deal with any tiny bit of speed creep, but didn't happen. Because I can't beat this thing, I do switch on out, and I do go into my Bronzong, which makes me cringe just a little bit. Like, any HP on this thing is brutal because... or giving up any HP on this thing is brutal because this is a Life Orb Mon. Any damage that I take is like potentially 1 or 2 fewer Life Orb hits I can throw off. But I don't have anything else that can threaten this thing, or and I don't have anything that... I don't have any way to really switch into Moonblast. I don't really have any resists. So I do expect the Rotom to come in, and predicting that I do go for Psychic, and I do almost 50% to this thing, which is really nice. I don't know if this thing is going to end up being some sort of berry, but like if that's the case, it's going to stink that I can't actually like two-shot it. I just like basically two-shot it. If I can get a Brox and it switches in again on my Psychic, that would help me. But I go into Lottie, resist the overheat, and I am expecting the Florges to come in, and so I do go for the trick with my Lottie. So this is going to be how I neutralize the Florges. It's still kind of annoying to deal with because I don't have Moonblast switch-ins, and it could still potentially like heal up with Wish over time, but it's going to be way easier to deal with now because at least I can predict its moves. Like in this case, he's almost certainly going to want to click... or no, he goes. I thought he might want to click Moonblast, so Bronzong seemed like the play again. But at least now that he's locked into Wish, that's looking really nice. He's going to try and heal up his Rotom, and I'm just going to go for another Psychic because there's no way that he's going to stay in. He can't really do anything. He'll get healed up to a pretty good amount of health. It does reveal itself to not to have like a 50% berry, so that's really nice. But yeah, his Rotom is now pretty healthy. I go into Gliscor this time because I am expecting him to want to go for the electric move, and that's exactly what happens. And then I'm going to make a double into my Lottie as he tries to hit my Gliscor with the fire move. So getting very lucky in these early game situations with these 50-50s, playing around this Rotom, also just expecting the switch into the Florges earlier. That was quite nice. So Lottie takes that very, very comfortably because it is max HP, and this Rotom does not seem to have any investment. I don't know if it's Fizz Def like it was last time or not. Like, to me, it makes sense for him to potentially go max HP, max speeds. That way he doesn't run into the same situation he did in the previous game, where he's outsped by a lot of my slower stuff. But in any case, he does end up going into his Florges. He just starts clicking Moonblast. I'm just going to throw a Flash Cannon versus this thing, or sorry, a Hydro Pump versus this thing. And basically, I just want to try and get as much damage on this thing as possible. I'm willing to give up my Blastoise to do that. Blastoise, it's nice, but it doesn't outspeed a ton this week besides, like, Seismitoad. I do get lucky, and I survive a Moonblast here. He does get a special attack drop, which is a bit annoying, but, you know, basically, I just needed damage on this Florges. That's all that I really wanted. And that's what's going to happen here. So, oh, I guess I saved this thing as sack fodder, because, yeah, he is definitely locked into Moonblast. And so I'm again giving up a little bit of HP on my Bronzong. Luckily, it's only like 20 HP. And I think I just go for a Psychic once again, because he is just going to go on into his Rotom. Yeah, so that's exactly what's going to happen here. So Bronzong, even without the Trick Room, being able to apply a ton of early game pressure, which is really, really nice. I do just go into Lottie. No, I sack my Blastoise here. Which is nice. I think this is probably why I chose to preserve it, because then, you know, if he wants to go for Volt Switch or something like that, I'll have the opportunity to get the momentum versus him. It is nice that he went for Pain Split as I went to Blastoise, because basically he cannot heal up at all. It's part of the reason I preserved it as well. But yeah, now he goes for Volt Switch, like I said, and I'm able to get that momentum, which is really, really nice. So then he's going to go into his Seismitoad. And yeah, with that Toxic, I don't think that the Seismitoad can really do much to my Lottie. But then he actually catches me really off guard here, and he goes for a Scarf Ice Punch. So that's really, really spooky. This thing is going to be a problem to deal with because it is so fast. Or I should say it would have been a problem, but I unfortunately froze his Seismitoad. So it's funny, if you watched my match like from Friday in UBL, as well as my match from last week for UBL versus Deathly I Am, I've now gotten like 3 freezes in 3 games, so that really stinks for my opponent. I'm able to get up a Roost as he stays frozen, which definitely I feel bad about. I'm going to go into my Lottie. Sorry, I'm going to switch out of my Lottie and go into my Tapu Koko, just because the Scarf Ice Punch is not going to do that much to my Tapu Koko, which is with the bulk investment that I have, and Seismitoad just doesn't have a ton of HP to begin with. He's going to switch on out as I go for Nature's Badness. Getting that damage onto the Seismitoad would have been nice, or if he chose to switch into like Lando or anything like that, I would have been happy to get off that sort of damage. I'm going to be able to take out this thing just with the T-Bolt. And so we now have taken out his Rotom, which is very good. Now he goes into his Lopunny. I don't want to go hard into Gliscor, just because I don't want to make it super obvious that the thing is Yachi Berry. If he just wants to go for a return versus my Tapu Koko anyway, I can throw off a Dazzling Gleam and do a pretty tremendous amount of damage to this thing. And like, I don't need Tapu Koko for terrain or anything like that. So I do make my switch into Gliscor now, as he actually makes a double. I guess you could call it a double. It's not technically, but he goes on into his Toad. And yeah, I don't want to stay in and potentially take an Ice or a Water type move from this thing if it does Thaw this turn. So I am going to switch on out and go back into my Tapu Koko. Like, there's no chance that he goes for a ground type move versus my Gliscor if he is able to Thaw this turn. And yeah, he does finally Thaw, so I'm glad it only was like 2 turns or 1 turn. No, 2 turns. But the fact that my Lottie was able to get off that that Roost was actually really pivotal. But the knockoff, Tapu Koko doesn't really take anything from that, so that's really nice. And this is really funny. I actually blow my Z move here. I guess I could have just gone for T-Bolt or Dazzling Gleam or something. But I wanted to try and hit whatever came in extremely hard. But of course, that thing that came in was Florges, which takes, basically like 25%, because this thing is only at like 30 or 35%. So it really doesn't do all that much damage. I'm sorry if the battle is like really slowing down. But hopefully you guys don't mind. You can stare at this giant swole Tapu body that's coming out of here. It's going to do, like I said, all of like 20% to this floor just because it's already so weak. But even though this thing has a choice scarf on it, we're definitely going to be able to outspeed and kill it with a Dazzling Gleam. So that's definitely nice. Tapu Koko getting an early 2 kills, which is looking really good. Yeah, and the Seismitoad, like, yeah, that's still the biggest threat, I think, at this point. He goes into Lopunny. This thing is definitely going to be able to kill me with Return if it chooses to go for it. And so I am going to now take this opportunity to go into my Gliscor, whereas before I didn't go hard into it. I will now. He might not necessarily think that like this is the dedicated response for Lopunny. It's hard to say. Like the fact that I don't have an item should be pretty telling. But I'm hoping he chooses to just go for Ice Punch, and that's exactly what he does. He's going to throw off that Ice Punch. We're going to be able to live. We don't get frozen, so there's no justice for that Seismitoad. We're going to throw off the Acrobatics, and that's going to be able to kill this Lopunny. So couldn't have drawn that one up any better. Like he probably should have scouted for Yachi Berry, but definitely works out for us here. So Gliscor has basically done its job. I'm not going to try and play around with this Lando. I'm just going to go for Acrobatics in case he chooses to set up or anything cheeky. And then, yeah, we're going to be able to just sack that off and find out that he is Life Orb on his Lando. And we're going to be able to go for Ice Beam and kill this thing. So right now it is 4-2. We've lost our Blastos and our Gliscor. He has just his Quillfish left and his Seismitoad. So, like, Scarf Seismitoad, definitely still spooky. But basically, I just need to get this thing in range of either my Choice Scarf Hawlucha or my Trick Room Bronzong. So I don't need to really keep my Lottie in, like, I don't need to preserve it. I just need to get off the chip damage. I went for Roost as he went for Ice Punch, just because if he went for something else, I wanted to be able to scout out what he did. Like, if he went for Waterfall or something, like, I could have, like, you know, very easily stayed in. Or like I got into my Hawlucha and tried to go for high jump kicks or whatever. There's like, you know, a bunch of different ways that we could have played. I just wanted to sort of scout out what he did. Go for the Shadow Ball and unfortunately get the Special Defense Drop. I went for Shadow Ball because I didn't want another chance of the freeze, just because I didn't want to like rub salt in the wound. But getting the Special Defense Drop is probably pretty annoying for him anyway. But yeah, basically I just want to get this thing as low as possible. So that way my Bronzong can come in. Basically, if Bronzong comes in, I click Trick Room and I win. He's locked into Ice Punch, and so he's not going to be able to do a lot of damage to me. I have another path to victory as well. Like, I could have gone into Hawlucha here, clicked U-turn, brought in my Tapu Koko, and then clicked Thunderbolt versus the Quillfish. Unless Quillfish is, like, somehow also choice locked, like a choice Scarf, and it clicks P-Jab versus me. But if that's the case, then I go into Bronzong, and Bronzong is obviously immune to the electric move. Sorry, not the poison move. It's funny, as I go for the Trick Room, he actually does freeze my Bronzong, but I immediately thaw. So that could have been a little awkward, but like I said, if he had somehow found a way to kill my Bronzong, I just go into Hawlucha and kill the Seismitoad with U-turn. He goes into his Quillfish, and I kill the Quillfish with Tapu Koko. But as it turns out, Bronzong is going to be able to get these final 2 kills, being able to kill both the Quillfish and the Seismitoad with Psychic. And that's going to be a 3-0 victory for your Baltimore Oriolus, going up against Automatic and his Nijimegen Nuzleafs. So, yeah, that freeze on the Seismitoad earlier in the game just totally changed the pace of it. The fact that Lottie could get off that Roost was definitely annoying. Made it pretty safe for, like, you know, dealing with Lando and things like that. Like, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like, whenever you get hacks in your favor, you always try and rationalize and say how it didn't actually matter. You know, it's not like, I don't know. I'm not even going to try and say anything. Like, it totally changed the way the pace of the game was played. Like, he could have been applying a lot more pressure with his Seismitoad throughout that whole mid-game because it was pretty annoying versus my team. Like, I did have Bronzong and to, like, you know, be able to take a hit, basically. But every hit that Bronzong takes means it's less threatening in the end game. Tapu Koko could technically take an Ice Punch, but it doesn't really want to take multiple hits. Yeah, and then, like, Hawlucha can deal off some damage with High Jump Kick versus Seismitoad, but Seismitoad has enough natural bulk that it's probably not going to die in one shot to High Jump Kick, and then an Ice Punch from Seismitoad is probably going to be able to one-shot Hawlucha. So, yeah, just really changed his mid-game. I'm otherwise pretty proud of how he played. We were able to predict all of his early game plays correctly, getting the trick onto Florigis, playing around the Rotom, things like that. We caught his low punting off guard with our Gliscor, so that was a really nice bit of prep. Yeah, the Bronzong just all game long applied so much pressure, whether it's just throwing off Psychics versus Rotom or getting that late game Trick Room sweep. So very happy with how that turned out. So yeah, we are going to be in the championship. Which is really nice. It's just crazy how, like, 3 weeks ago I thought I was eliminated from playoffs, had basically no chance to make it, but then with Fizzle losing out and us catching a 3-game win streak to finish the season, we were able to get into playoffs, and all of a sudden we found ourselves in the championship. So there was another battle on the other side of the roster, or the other side of the division. It was going up against between Sebi VGC and Irish Emerald. That battle should have gone up yesterday. But if you did miss that, go check it out. I'm playing the winner of that game. I'm just stalling to give you guys a moment to pause the video and check that out if you don't want to get spoiled, because I am about to tell you who my championship opponent is. So full spoilers, Sebi is going to be our opponent for the championship. He actually has the greatest team I think I've ever seen. I was saying Otto's team was probably one of the best I've ever seen, but Sebi's team is actually insane. So I don't quite know how we're going to pull this off. But luckily, I'm just happy to be here. Having made the championship, I think, is a really cool achievement in and of itself. So I feel like I'm playing with house money a little bit, I guess is what I'm trying to say. If we lose, then whatever. I shouldn't have been here proper anyway. But if we do win, then hey, that's another championship. That'll be our 4th overall championship. But yeah, they're going to have to figure out some sort of crazy prep in order to deal with his team. It's just really amazing. So anyway, that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and leave a sub, and that way you can catch my championship battle that's going to be coming out next weekend, or probably sometime after that. We actually haven't played yet, and the deadline was technically today to do our battle, but it's going to be delayed some number of days. He was at Pokemon VGC Nationals in Columbus this weekend, so he's been super busy. So we'll play at some point, and the battle will go up eventually. You just check my Twitter, and I'll tell you guys when the battle is going to be uploaded. But yeah, please do like and subscribe, and that way you can also stay up to date on all my other latest and greatest Pokemon and gaming content. We do have our Week 3 UBL battle coming up next weekend, going up against Diet Tight. He took over for Irish Emerald, and Irish has a really scary team of like Lando and Mega Heracross and things like that, so it's going to be hard to deal with. So yeah, please check that out. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, I'll see you guys later.